Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful and your weekend is off to a great start. Today I get to share with you 3 cards using the Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kit for February. Now I'm excited because this kit is actually available. It didn't sell out, which is really nice, but it's very Hawaiian themed and I think it's super fun. And so today we're going to create a variety of cards. A thank you card, a just because card, and then a hello card. This is the 6x8 stamp set this month. There's surfboards, there's umbrellas, there's flowers, hibiscus, and small and large. There's even some landscape scenery. There's palm trees, of course. You have your little tropical drinks. There's pineapples. There's even some turtles, a mama turtle and a baby turtle. It's just so cute. The sentiments in here coordinate with the images in the set. Including that little guy who's holding the ukulele. There's sentiments that go with that. But that is your 6x8 stamp set. Now, this month you also get coordinating dies, of course. And I believe, I'm not going to separate them like I usually do, just for time purposes, but I'm pretty sure it'll cut out all the images in your stamp set, with the exception of the mountain background and then the water background on the very bottom. There is some water detail that you can add to your ocean scenery. So that is your stamp and die set. You also get an extra goodie bag. You get 6 sheets of 5.5 by 8.5 sheets of cardstock. You get 3 different colors, and they're beautiful colors. First color here is turquoise. The middle color is called Mars green, and then you get the third one, which is coral. So nice little tropical colors. And then I'm super excited because we get some sand embossing powder. Hero Arts, I've put this in the kits before and I loved it because the way it's kind of golden but gritty but not gritty. It's just very nice embossing powder. They also gives you a huge roll of washi tape with some florals on it. I think these are hibiscus flowers, but the washi tape roll is wider than normal. I believe it's just over 3/4 of an inch wide, so maybe 5/8 of an inch wide. So it's pretty thick stuff. We're not going to use the cardstock or the washi tape for our cards today, but we are going to do some stamping. So I have some white cardstock and my Memento ink. I'm going to start off by stamping a palm tree, and then I have the surfboard. We're going to stamp this a few times. Lots of images in great for scene building. And I know Hero Arts blog has some amazing projects with scene building, but for today I thought we'd go a little bit different. I am stamping the leaf here, and then we're going to stamp the larger hibiscus flower. There's a smaller one in there. We'll stamp that 3 times, and then there's little leaf. Now, the flowers, I'm actually going to stamp a few more times off camera and color them in. I'm going to create 4 pink, 4 turquoise, and then 4 pink, turquoise, and orange. I think we'll go for orange. So we're going to do 12 of those flowers in all. I do end up coloring in 2 of the palm trees. Because you know we like the crisscross palm trees. 3 of the larger leaf down here on the bottom that I'm coloring in now. We're going to do 3 of those. The colors I did list out, and I used the same colors for all of my images. So my little buddy wants to say hello. And I did end up coloring in 1 more surfboard in those same exact colors. But I'm jabbering while I'm coloring, but I'm going to play some music while I finish up, and then when I'm done coloring, I will get you back. Okay, coloring is all done, and I love the bright colors, and I love them against the white, so our backgrounds are going to be basically more white today. I'm going to take the coordinating dies and die cut out all my images, and again, off camera I did stamp a few more and die cut everything out. Once everything is die cut, we can begin our card projects. So I love frames, and so I'm going to bring in a frame die set in a minute, but I did want to share with you, I stamped a few of those little tiki heads. I stamped 3 of them and colored them in with the same colors. I thought we would throw in a little bit of a totem pole that we could create with those. So I have those as well as the images that I stamped earlier. But here's my frame set. This is actually from Hero Arts. It's the wood frame infinity set. I'm taking the largest one, which will cut out a frame that will fit a card front. I love the wood detail on here. And then this is the inside piece of my frame. We're actually going to take that inside piece, and I'm going to take a square die and die cut out a square towards the upper portion of it. And that just makes a quick and easy photo frame. And I thought we would use this for our first project today. I'm going to start off by taking the palm trees. We're going to add the tape runner here, and I'm going to put one outside of the photo frame. We'll push these aside, and then one of them is going to go behind the photo frame just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then we can lower the one in front, and then the back one we can raise up a bit with a little tape here on the side. Now I'm going to add a little tape behind my photo frame and add our second palm tree, which I really miss. Most of my family lives in California, and that's one thing I miss here in Kansas. We don't have any palm trees. Okay, here's my little surfboards. I'm going to go ahead, and you can see I also stamped and colored in one more using the same colors as my hibiscus flowers. So I have orange, pink, and a teal color. We're going to put the teal and the orange in the front. And I do want to kind of place them a little bit wonky. I kind of want to want them in different heights, and then maybe slant them just a little bit to the left and to the right. And these two are going to go on the outside of my photo frame, and then this one we're going to flip it over, add a little tape behind both of those, and then tack down our pink one, kind of raising it up a little bit higher. Okay, I think that looks great. After we have this done, for my background of my photo frame, I didn't want to leave it just all white. I didn't want to bring in an embossing folder, but I do want to add something a little bit different. I have a stencil from Hero Arts. It's called the Spiral Stencil, and I've been wanting to use this for a while. This is the first time I've used it, but it immediately reminded me of like netting. I remember when I was really little, my auntie had a little Hawaiian bar down in her basement. Children, do not listen to the story. But I remember the little fringe around her little bar, and I remember the rattan furniture, and I remember all the hibiscus flowers around it. She had went to Hawaii a few times, and I guess she brought it back and was entertained down in her basement. Well, that's what this reminded me of. She had fish netting too, and so that's why I thought it would be great for our background today. So it's funny how memories we can incorporate in our card projects. Now I inked up my stencil with Versamark ink, and then I'm going to go over my stencil with my sand embossing powder. Now if you guys are new and haven't tried the sand embossing powder, you're going to love it, because there's different variants of color. You can see here the dark browns and then the golden tans, but when it's heat embossed, it looks like there's texture, but it's smooth. It's just a really neat embossing powder. Now I'm not particular on the evenness of my stencil there, because we're going to end up trimming it off, but I just melted that embossing powder, and now I like to find the placement for behind my photo frame, and I think this upper corner is going to work out great. I didn't really want it to look like a seashell. It kind of does look like a seashell actually though, but I wanted it to look more like netting. I'm going to trim off the excess once I found my placement here. We're going to trim off a little off the left and the right, and then we're going to just toss these little pieces. For actually all my cards today, we're going to be using that stencil, guys. I'm going to add adhesive behind my panel. It's not tacked down to my photo frame, but I am keeping them together for my placement purposes. I'll hold them together and then stick it down in the center of my card base. This way I know my background is perfectly positioned where I want it. Then I can lift up my image frame here, and then we can flip it over and add foam adhesive to give our panel a little bit of dimension. Now, after I added the foam adhesive, I realized that I didn't stamp my sentiment on the very bottom. I wanted to stamp the sentiment that says mahalo, which is thank you in Hawaiian, I believe. Yeah, it's mahalo. But I did stamp just a little note to say, and the sentiments are separated, so you could add aloha on the bottom of that if you wanted to. But I stamped it on black cardstock and heat embossed it with white embossing powder. And then I stamped my mahola, well, it's hard for me to say, but it's the mahalo on the very bottom. Now, I had loaded up with foam adhesive just so it would stamp pretty, and I got lucky it did, but maybe you should stamp your sentiment before you pop it up. Makes it a lot easier. But that's card number 1. For card number 2, we're bringing in that stencil again and some more Versamark ink. Now for this one, I have a panel that measures smaller than my card base. I know that. It's gonna, I believe it's 4 inches by 5 1/4, or it might be 3 3/4 inches. But it's going to leave me about a 1/4 inch around my card base. But I wanted my stencil to be more towards the middle, and I didn't want the straight edge. I wanted it to be kind of organic. So I'm taking my paintbrush, and if you do this with your paintbrush, don't use your good ones. Just use the ones you get at the dollar store, I would suggest, because your paintbrush will pick up that embossing powder. But I just kind of made it a little bit more organic with that paintbrush, and then I melted that embossing powder. Now that's going to be my background, but I do want to add my hibiscus flowers for my second card. My thought here was to create a lei on the very front. There's a sentiment in the stamp set that says lay back and relax, and so I thought that would be fun to make a huge lei. Now, I'm not going to make a complete circle. I'm going to have an open end on the top portion of my panel here, but this is where all those flowers will come in. There's some more florals in there if you guys wanted to go crazy and put some more smaller hibiscus or the other flower in there. You could very well, but I'm just using the hibiscus for my lei today. Now, I sped this part up really fast. Sorry about my throat. And just for my placement, and I'm kind of placing it like as if, you know, it were on the sand, so a little bit has an S shape to it. And I'm alternating the colors too. You don't want 2 of your same colors together. After my placement was adhered with the flowers, I'm going in with the leaves and just filling in any open areas. And the flowers and the leaves I did pop up with foam adhesive, and I think that looks so pretty, especially against that spiral background. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and take my sentiment. I did stamp it on black cardstock and melted it with white embossing powder, heated it up, and melted it, I'm going to place this, offsetting it from the right side of my panel here, and then we're going to put this on our A2 size card base. And actually I didn't mention on my previous card, but my card bases are all standard A2 size card bases. And this panel is, sorry guys for the uncertainty, but it's 4 inches by 5 1/4 for this panel. Okay, next I like to add a little bit, since I have a lot of white in the background, I'm going to add some dotted detail to my flowers with my white gel pen. In the close-ups you can see just those little dots really make your flowers pop. But that's my second card. For my final card today, we're going to take that frame that we cut with the wood frame infinity dies. Again, this will be your card front size. I need a background for it, so I took that same stencil in the sand embossing powder and just did it in one corner. Now I suggest too, when you guys are, I didn't mention this earlier, but if you do use your sand embossing powder, I would suggest getting your heat gun nice and hot and then heating it underneath first, because sometimes those darker pieces in your embossing powder like to flow away. So heat from underneath first. That way it kind of grabs your paper, so you have that gradient and they don't blow away when you add your heat gun to your embossing area. Okay, I went ahead and popped up my frame. I added it to my card front. along with my background panel. So they're all secure on my A2 size card. Next, we're going to add our little totem pole we created. These are actually tiki heads. I just stacked 3 together. Then added a hibiscus flower, and then I did stamp 3 smaller hibiscus flowers. Just kind of arranged them on the bottom right of my little totem pole here. And then we're going to dot those flowers. My sentiment for this card, I just chose Aloha to make it a hello card. And then I did add sparkle to the rest of the cards too. I just used my shimmer pen. I think sparkle and the sand looks really good together. So I just went over the images with my sparkle sand. It's very subtle, but when you tilt it, you can see the shininess of it. We're going to go over our flowers, and then we're going to go over our little homemade totem pole also. But those are my cards today, guys. If you're interested in this kit, I am happy to say that it's still available. I'll leave the link down below. If you want to see still shots too, I encourage you to visit my blog. I have some close-ups and still shots over there. But love the Hero Arts kits. I hope you do too. Have a fabulous Valentine's Day. I won't have any videos for you tomorrow, but I will see you back here on Monday. Have a great day. We will see you again real soon.